Baltimore specifically.
Are we enjoying San Diego?
Yeah. It's my first time out here. It's
right.
ridiculously hot. It's not hot, but it's like the movement. Yeah, just having to get from one place to the next.
Yeah.
So Sean, welcome to San Diego 2022.
Thank you.
Terrell here. Like I said, first time out here. Glad I had the opportunity to do an interview with you today. You already know what we're here to talk about.
Let's do it. Let's bring it on.
So, a lot of people want to know you had the pleasure and the opportunity to score that Halo for Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
You knew, I guess you kind of knew what came with that, like kind of the backlash of kind of tampering with the Holy Bible to a certain extent of like the music that is Halo. What did you have like going into that, like of what you couldn't touch and what you could put your own spin on and make it your own?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, when I interviewed for it, they asked me what I thought of the story. Did you see it all?
I did. I watched the whole thing, yeah.
So I hope you liked it.
I loved it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you did. I had interviewed for the series during COVID, in the middle of COVID, in the early part of last year. And I thought that this story was about a guy who starts to wake up to who he is. He starts to discover some hidden parts of himself that he'd either forgotten or that got erased. And he's sort of searching for his authentic self, and I sort of said to them, the action and the stories, and it's all beautiful. I said, but what I love about Halo, and what I've always loved about watching my nephews play the game, is the characters, the stories. You got to care about the people. You got to care about the characters. And so I thought, this is a guy who's trying to really rediscover who he is and what's important to him, where he's going, what he's doing. And I thought, we're going through COVID. Who among us isn't asking that question of each other? What matters to us? And we were really stripped down to our nuts and bolts during COVID, taking all the things away that we couldn't do. So I sort of started there. But I was very mindful of this enormous body of work, not only in the game, but the music that came before me. And there were themes that we were going to integrate, and they also wanted new themes. They wanted new themes and new colors. They wanted to make sure that it was separate from the game, but also connected to it, and I totally agreed. It was kind of like, I've said this a couple times before, it's like the series is like, if it was too radically different, that would disconnect fans from the show. What's the point? What good is that? It's like designing a car, a new model of a car that's so different from your old model that you just don't feel you don't feel any connection to it anymore. There's passion, there's emotion. So we even in the main title, you'll hear the beginning of the Halo theme done on cello and alto voice, and then it goes into the theme for the Master Chief, which is what I wrote. So they kind of work together, and that's how I wanted to do it, was to totally respect the franchise, and hope that, even though it was a different vehicle for fans, because it's a show rather than a game, that they would enjoy the experience. And so that was my goal.
Like I said, I must have rewound that theme at least 20 times. Yeah, I was like, am I hearing something new here? Okay, I'm loving it. Like, and I'm the type of person, like, I don't skip an intro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people hit the skip intro on Netflix, stuff like that. I'm not skipping no intros on Paramount Plus, especially when the songs, definitely doing a lot of the fight scenes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man, it definitely gets the scenes hype in that show. And like I said, I know a lot of fans. It's kind of broke down the middle on the show, but like I said, it really was good, and it was scored beautifully.
Oh, thank
you.
I
could tell, if you played the games or not, it didn't even matter. Like, you definitely had some love for that series.
That means a lot to me, man. I mean, there was some, I was warned by someone at Microsoft. They said, "Be warned, buddy, you're going to step on some landmines," And look, in the end, you have to respect. What I fundamentally respect is the passion. I mean, people could have issues with how something was done, or how something looked, or how something sounded. But the one thing I feel good about is I really try. I mean, I really aspired to make every moment earned and authentic, and it was just one of those things that I cared so much about this project. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the people I worked with. It was just a really magical experience for me.
Now, obviously, season 2 is greenlit. I'm assuming that you're back on for that. You're all in.
That's the plan. I hope. And there's new showrunners and stuff. There's all new teams. I'm not officially on it yet, but I hope I will be. I'm going to talk to people in a little bit. They're getting ready to shoot, and we'll see. I mean, but but I would love to see the story continue and see where they're going to go. I've heard a little rumblings about what it's going to be about, and I think it's going to be a really, really amazing second season.
Now, you guys, I mean, you did a whole, behind the music panel for, pretty much like the entire industry. I don't even think most people even pay attention to, when they're watching movies or television, just how much the music influences a show or a scene. How much would you say, how much influence did you have over how a scene went or how your music was placed in a show? Do you have like the final say on that, or it's just, hey, we want you to put this here or make it work?
When you look at a show, there are certain moments that may come jumping out at you, like, oh, I hear something that I want to try here, And sometimes they'll love it, and sometimes they won't. And sometimes the producer will say, this moment needs help. This moment, we didn't quite get everything we wanted out of the performance. We didn't quite get the right coverage. Could you help us here? During a mixing of the show, a composer always wants the music a little louder. We want to hear it more. So it's a combination of the art part, which is the creativity part, the artistry part, and then there's the craftsmanship, which is how do you make it work? Like if you're scoring a scene with a gushing waterfall with a lot of white noise, and you have to score that, well, what are you going to do? You're going to make it work, because it's a collaborative process. We're working with music, sound effects, dialogue, directors, actors, lighting, everything. So we're part of a team. But there are some moments that hit me really strongly, and when I do them, I kind of try something bold. And sometimes I warn them ahead of time. I said, I'm trying something really bold here. And sometimes it's gone, they shoot it out of the sky, and other times they kind of give it a shot. So.
Do you have any dream projects right now on the table that you definitely want to put your hand in right now and touch? Or
I will say that if an opportunity came to score or submit for any one of the Star Wars series, just because of my connection to Star Wars, I'd love to put my hat in the ring, which is to say nothing critical about the people who have contributed to those shows, because they're fantastic. It'd just be an interesting coming back full circle.
I feel like John Williams got that on lock. Like he's got like an exclusive contract on the Star Wars franchise.
What's funny is you got to really think about this. Is there any other franchise that's as connected to a composer as Star Wars? I mean, you can make the case that Star Trek, but Star Trek had a lot of different composers. But John Williams, his themes for Star Wars, I mean, everyone who's done their own thing with them is great, but he's really he's sort of the man.
Right.
I mean, he's just the man, and he's 90, and he's still doing it. I mean, it's just so my admiration for him is unrivaled, just because my desire to want to do this began with listening to the things he was doing.
Right.
And he's a very humble man. I've met him a few times, and he cares about the work so deeply, and whenever I feel stuck or frustrated, I think, well, he was able, he's 90 years old and he's doing it. You think I should be able to just calm down and try to get past the moment, whatever it is.
Yeah, you guys definitely got the perfect job to retire at like 100 and keep working. As long as you still got the ear for it, you can keep working.
I read somewhere that conductors are some of the healthiest people in the world. They live long because, first of all, they move their arms a lot.
Right.
They have to use their brains and all that kind of stuff. So I was an article that like most conductors they live a long time. So him being 90 is probably, maybe he'll make it to 100. Wouldn't that be great?
It's time to change careers. Sean, before we get out of here, was anything Comic-Con wise that you had a goal of obtaining before you leave for the week?
Here?
Yes.
Oh, well, the goal has already been attained, which is that it happened.
Right.
I mean, it's been 3 years. This is one of the most communal, celebratory events I've ever been privileged to attend. I mean, you're walking around, and I mean, aside from the sun bleeding down, but the lines of getting in, and
dedication,
and the people that are dressing up, honoring the things that are important to them. I mean, come on, this is the one of a kind, one stop, one of a kind place. So I'm just happy to be a part of any part of it. So.
Say, man, I'm happy to be out here with you, getting this opportunity. Thank you, Sean, for stopping with me, and I hopefully enjoy the rest of your con.
Take it easy.